Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Barbara Coffey, Director of Economic Initiatives for the City of Tucson. This is our October webinar in a series for small business, Connecting for Success. And it's Manufacturing Month. So we have celebrated Manufacturing Day already. This month, we've enjoyed a variety of activities that highlight the importance of manufacturing in our community. The good, high-paying jobs, the long-term investment made by our manufacturers that contributes to long-term sustainability, resiliency, and economic vitality. So to that end, we've brought together our resource partners that help keep our manufacturing sector strong to share what they can offer in the way of support and assistance to ensure the success of these businesses. So again, I'll remind you, we can take your questions as we go. So please enter those in the chat or the Q&A. We'll get to as many of those as possible in our time together, and we'll keep all participants muted since we do have a large number of attendees, but we do record the session and we'll make it available for everyone tomorrow. You can find links to this and all the previous webinars at connecttucson.com. So let's get started. Our presenters today will be Gary Williams. Gary lives in Tucson and has the privilege of serving as a senior client advisor for the Arizona Manufacturing Extension Partnership. With over 20 years of successful experience in small business management and operations, he provides high-value, affordable solutions to help businesses increase profitability. As an advocate for Arizona's thousands of manufacturers, Gary and his team leverage resources in both the public and private sectors to help identify areas of improvement, streamline processes, and ultimately increase competitiveness. So welcome, Gary. We'll also have Amanda Abens. Amanda serves as the Dean for Workforce Development and Lifelong Learning at Pima Community College, where she administers career and technical education programs, as well as continuing education and workforce training. Amanda works to deliver increased responsiveness to business and industry, to pilot new CTE programs and initiatives in entrepreneurial and grant-funded settings, and to develop and deploy contract and customized training to meet business and industry needs. Amanda is an alumna of the University of Arizona and also holds a master's in counseling from the University of Phoenix. Before joining Pima Community College, she built multi-sector collaborations with the Norton School of Family and Consumer Sciences at the U of A and has over 15 years of experience working with homeless and low-income families. Amanda combines her experience in both social service and higher education to bring a very unique perspective to workforce development. So first of all, welcome to both of my panelists. I'm so glad that you could join me today. What I'm going to do is kick it off with Amanda. All right. And so I'm very excited to have you here because there's just been so many wonderful things, wonderful programs happening in amazing development and investment by Pima Community College. And I want to be sure that, again, our manufacturing audience has a chance to understand what it is that you all can do to support them. So I'll turn it over to you, Amanda.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Barbara. I'm so happy to be here today and really appreciate everything you do to put this webinar series together and bring us all together to talk about things like manufacturing. And what an awesome thing to celebrate is Manufacturing Month. Manufacturing keeps our country going. And it really is at the heart of our economic development here in Southern Arizona and across our state. And we have been so excited to really make renewed investments and really work with our local community, specifically around manufacturing. So I'm excited to share with you all of the things that we're doing. And while it is kind of a sideline to manufacturing, I do want to share about our Aviation Technology Center, because one of the things that we do to serve the state is our aviation programs, airframe and power plant, avionics. We're starting non-destructive testing program. And so we have just been able to double the size of our aviation program, and that ribbon cutting happened just at the end of last week. So really excited for that. That output is going to double, and that was a collaborative between the state and Pima Community College. We did receive $15 million from the state of Arizona, and we're so incredibly grateful to the state and to Governor Ducey to make that happen. So in manufacturing, we've been running manufacturing programs for a very long time and keeping them current and making investments in those programs. My colleague Dean Greg Wilson oversees all of our manufacturing programs under the Applied Technology Division. He's sorry he can't be here with you all today, but I'd like to share with you some of the things that we've been doing. So we have the traditional machining programs, welding programs, and computer-aided drafting, and have really increased our investment in our automated industrial technology, also known as mechatronics. You may hear us at Pima refer to it as AIT. And our robotics, and really making that investment to stay current on the training and on the equipment, making large investments in those robotics equipment, and really making large investments to ensure our faculty are staying current and on that equipment. And really working with business and industry so we know what equipment you all are using out there. And so we have a robust advisory board to give us great formal input, but also all of those informal conversations with you all in the community and as employers, so that we are ensuring what we are teaching and what we are teaching on aligns with what you are doing. And we work hard to stay abreast of not just what you're doing today, but what we can anticipate you doing tomorrow. The reality is we in higher ed have not always traditionally moved at the speed you all need us to move at. We at Pima Community College are working really hard to move at the speed of business. Best we can, given we have constraints in higher education, but we have ways to do that. We have ways to change our curriculum so that we ensure that, again, what we're teaching is what it is that you are using in your facilities. One of the things, if you have been by our downtown campus, I'm actually right now at the downtown campus in our automotive building. I would love to be in our advanced manufacturing building, but it's not quite done yet. So our campus, downtown campus at Speedway and Stone, we've made huge improvements in. Our automotive facility opened last year and is state of the art. Our advanced manufacturing building, and please, if you haven't driven by recently, please drive by. You don't even have to get close because you can see these buildings from a distance. Our advanced manufacturing building, I toured it last week, and it is going to be done. We're anticipating in the spring semester. We'll have a great, wonderful grand opening and really expect you all to come and join us and celebrate. It is a showcase, and it is going to be a full living lab. So it is 3 stories. It is 100,000 square feet with state-of-the-art facilities. And I have to add some of the most beautiful views all over. Great view of A Mountain. And those, all of us Tucsonans, we love A Mountain. And it has some just absolutely amazing state-of-the-art facilities. So you start off on the bottom floor with a makerspace or idea lab, along with some classrooms and lab spaces. As you go up, you continue into very inviting spaces and great views and continual state-of-the-art labs, and again, equipment that we continue to make investments in. What we also have and are incredibly proud of is a 10,000 square foot flexible industry training space. We call the Fit Lab, FIT. And that was really specifically designed to ensure that we can meet the needs of business and industry and the community while we have classes ongoing. So we are having students, learners in our labs and classrooms all day, every day, taking those automated industrial technology classes, the welding, the CAD, all of those things. So when an employer comes to us to request some training, upskilling of their employees or a specialized cohort, we've had a challenge at our current smaller facility to be able to accommodate that. And unfortunately, we have been in that position where we serve employers, but we can only do it maybe on a Friday morning or in the middle of the day on Saturday. And so this flexible industry training space, this Fit Lab, 10,000 square feet, is going to be not scheduled for regular classes. It's separate from our other labs and is specifically to be able to serve our employers and our community. So if it's the employers that need training, perhaps it's the county or Arizona at Work reskilling a group of individuals who maybe had been laid off from another occupation and reskilling them into advanced manufacturing. And it will have equipment that's all on casters, all movable, around, customizable. And again, we are so incredibly grateful for the support that we get from the community, from the state, from the federal government. We were able to secure $1 million in funding through Congress. Rahul Grijalva supported that request, $1 million for equipment to outfit that Fit Lab. And it's going to be a lab that we are excited to share with you all and welcome your training needs. Welcome to be able to reskill or upskill any of your employees as you may need them trained on new equipment, new techniques, or all of the above. We were able to do a press announcement actually last week with Rahul Grijalva celebrating that and showcasing the building that is still yet under construction. The other thing that we are going to be housing at the new 100,000 square feet building is an incubator space. So really excited to be able to expand into this. So we're going to have an incubator space for those emerging new startups in the manufacturing fields. And so individuals can have collaborative and private working space and then be able to use our equipment in our labs to be able to do prototyping or other work on right there in the building and be able to engage with all of our students. So what we're expecting and really wanting is that you all will be engaged in this facility. You're going to come and join us and hang out in the incubator, come to the makerspace, be in the lab, and meet our students. You want to connect with our students before they graduate. You want to ideally provide work-based learning opportunities for them because our students are getting snatched up right away. And so having that space, that place to be able to engage and share ideas and network with all of our learners, with our faculty, we're really looking forward to hosting you all there once that space opens. In addition to those wonderful things that I've talked about our Fit Lab and our incubator, we are going to have a gantry crane that runs the length of the facility. So that's going to be, if that's not enough to get you to come out and see our manufacturing facility, I don't know what's going to get you there. It's going to really be a showstopper, and it's going to allow us, when we talk about that flexibility and always having up-to-date and state-of-the-art equipment, that crane is going to allow us to be able to not only train individuals on operating a crane and safety aspects, but we're going to be able to be moving equipment back and forth, floor to floor. Again, it's all about how are we serving our learners, how are we serving business and industry, and having flexible facilities will do that. We'll have classrooms that allow for what we call high flex engagement. So right now, all of us are in our respective offices, homes, wherever it is that we may be. And we know our learners can engage really well in this. If COVID taught us nothing else, it's that we are able to do business and learn this way on Zoom. Now, manufacturing requires that we come in and use our hands too and engage in the equipment. And so what we've been working hard to do is ensure that our programs have as much flexibility as possible so that our students have that same flexibility. At Pima Community College, the average age of our students is 28 years old. And many of our career tech programs like manufacturing, that age actually rises up higher too. So while we serve youth via dual enrollment in the high schools and really working closely with our high school programs, we also serve a lot of working learners, adults who are juggling the same things we're all juggling. Children, care for parents, all of those things. And by having flexible modes of learning, by being able to engage in some of the learning home in your pajamas and doing the didactic part that's most convenient for you, and then being in the lab spaces. And having some of the high-tech equipment so that we can do both at the same time. Let's say you're contagious and you really need to stay home, but there's an awesome guest speaker that day and you really want to be there and be engaged. Well, great, we can do both at the same time. We can do what we call high flex, which is combine that people there live in person along with folks being back at home if they're not able to join us in person. So we're really excited about being able to have the technology to be able to do those pieces. And again, that building will be opening in this next spring of 23, date to come in the near future. As we talk about our flexibility and the ways that we are serving the community and serving all of our learners, one of the things that a term we've adopted here at Pima Community College is the term new majority learner. That's what we have often historically called not traditional, right? If you think of a traditional college student, that's somebody who just graduated from high school and maybe they're coming for a career tech program, maybe they're coming for a transfer program. Our new majority learners are truly our majority learners. While we love our folks coming in from high school, we know that we have a lot of other folks to serve in Pima County. Folks who are juggling all of those things we just talked about. They're juggling kids and they're juggling jobs and maybe more than one job. And they may be first generation college students. They may be low income, they may be minority, they may be formerly incarcerated. All of those things are truly majority learners. And that means we need to serve them in new and different ways. The traditional ways of delivering education are not working for the new majority learner. So we have done a lot of things like we talked about, high flex, doing the flexible, combining Zoom with in-lab experiences, ensuring that our labs are, lab times are very dynamic. And again, our instructors are engaged and enthusiastic about the profession. But what we're also doing is really working to ensure that we have a number of on-ramps. One of those is that high school on-ramp, ensuring that we have programs that are working with our high school partners and our JTED partners. But also serving apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is incredibly important as a earn and learn model to be able to serve not just our employers, to be able to have a really strong, robust apprenticeship program and be able to retain workers. But also an earn and learn model. So those folks who are struggling to have a job and go to school at the same time can be making a living with their employer while they're coming to school at Pima Community College. It's so incredibly powerful. Pima Community College was the first community college in the state of Arizona to become a sponsor for registered apprenticeship. So we work very closely with Willie Higgins in the apprenticeship office to deliver those apprenticeships. And by being a sponsor, that really helps support our small and medium-sized businesses who may not have the infrastructure and capacity to do the paperwork that a registered apprenticeship requires. Another way we're serving new majority learners is through our IBEST programs, Integrated Basic Education Skills Training. Those individuals that don't yet have a high school diploma or a GED can do both at the same time, rather than get their GED first and then do their career tech program. It's a very successful, proven model where they do it at the same time and are able to get out in the workforce that much faster. We've been doing that program very successfully in our automated industrial technology with very high success rates. We also have our fast track programs, our quick entry, non-credit programs to be able to get, again, folks into the workspace in typically under 12 weeks. We're doing that we have one developed in automated industrial technology and another one rolling out in machining as well. And so those are ways that we're able to get our new majority learners into programs and get them trained, get them industry recognized credentials and out working in our community. So super excited about all of those programs. And another way that we have, if folks are not aware, at Pima Community College, we do house our Small Business Development Center, our SBDC. SBDC has proudly been serving Tucsonans for decades to be able to help them start up their new businesses. And we really welcome especially manufacturing businesses to be able to support their needs. And again, soon we'll have that incubator space once the new buildings open to add in the way that we serve those new and up and coming small businesses. So we are really excited to be your Pima Community College and making an investment in advanced manufacturing. And we really welcome to hear from you all at any time on how we can best serve you. And if you have needs that we are not meeting and you have feedback for us, please let us know. We do like and appreciate the good, bad, and the ugly to hear. It's the only way that we can get better and serve our community. So thank you. And thank you, Barbara, for the time today.
That is fantastic. I had this, long list of questions, and I feel like you went through and touched all the things. But as a way of, quick recap, I want to congratulate you all and Pima Community College, the leadership, and all of the team and staff there, because what a phenomenal opportunity it is for people to engage with the college now, right where you are today, with the new facilities opening, the expanded aviation technology center and the new automotive center, and soon the new manufacturing center with the Fit Lab and all of these things that you described, in addition to the support services that you are able to provide for so many of the students. And I love it that you defined the high flex space as you did, because I think that was also a very creative approach in the way to really meet people where they're at and to solve for those issues of maybe absentee, right? And people feeling like they can't participate. You've really answered all the objections for that kind of education. And I just applaud you. So thank you for what you do. That's awesome. And be sure to put your contact information in and any links, both of you, that you see fit for our attendees today to interface with and engage more so they can find access to all your programs. So what I'm going to do now, and I also will invite people to always ask questions, enter those in the chat, and we will certainly get answers for you and engage with our speakers on that. I am going to make Gary our host now so that he can share some, let's see here, some of his information.
Magic slides.
Yes, of your great information. So as soon as I find that, there we go. We're gonna just see if we can quickly make you a host. Yes, I want to do that. And then you'll just send it back to me when you're done, but you should have the ability. So we'll learn about what you've been up to. So turn it over to you.
Let's see here. All right, can everybody see?
Yes.
Me. All right, I'm seeing the top of the screen is not letting me go to the slideshow, but that's okay. There we go. Hey, found it. Perfect. Excellent. Again, my name is Gary Williams. I'm a senior client advisor for the Arizona Manufacturing Extension Partnership, or MEP for short. As you can see behind me, I live here in Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, and cover southern Arizona. So our program's mission is to help every Arizona manufacturer be the most successful business that they can be. Here you can see our advisor team, minus the new guy, and our executive director, Dave Garofano. When I started in 2018, we were a team of 8, and we've grown to a total of 13, including unseen here, our ops manager, Val Frenzel, and Sarah Wallace, our project coordinator, who you've probably had a couple of emails from. There we go. So the way that we're structured is we're a partially federally funded, not-for-profit program, and we're overseen by NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. So here in Arizona, the Arizona Commerce Authority holds our grant. So we work operationally through the ACA, and it's a tremendous benefit to our program, being able to keep up with the changing incentives and grants and taxes, all of the goings on that really affect every business. So some of the MEP centers across the country are standalone. There's one in every state, including Puerto Rico. Some are with the university, like Indiana, just worked with some of their folks at Purdue. And some are with the government agency like ours. There's a total of 8 that are with the government agency. So, however, our performance is measured by NIST. So our funding is reliant on the impacts that we bring to the clients that we serve. So whether it's cost savings, increased sales, jobs created or retained, things like that, working for a government entity, like to say things that really matter. So things that impact the business and make money. So those impacts are measured through a third-party survey that goes out 6 to 9 months after we perform any project. So all of those surveys are rolled up across the US from all the MEP centers. Right now, the average customer rating for all of the centers is 84.3, but here in Arizona, we maintain above 90, and we're currently at 100, which is amazing because anywhere I go, I look at Yelp reviews, I look at Google reviews, and I try to pick out the bad because normally if you get what you were expecting, usually you give a good review. So we're super proud of that score because it comes directly from the manufacturers that we serve. And we know we are helping our clients maintain a competitive advantage here in our state. So our number one priority is really focusing on only what the folks need to be successful. Here it's kind of some big numbers. It's kind of hard to absorb because it's for the whole national program. But typically the reporting from the survey is roughly 115,000 jobs created last fiscal, 15 billion in new sales. I think it says 2020. So these are all last year's numbers. 1.5 billion in cost savings, 4.5 billion in new investments. But these kind of revolve around some of the biggest challenges that are reported by manufacturers across the U.S. Most important ones are cost reduction, supply chain, employee recruitment, growth, and new product development. So with our relatively small team and combined with our third-party partners, we have vendors that we've vetted and we've used with multiple manufacturers throughout the state. We bring a variety of services, including some you can see here, that can really uncover hidden costs and bring immediate value. We break these typically down into two categories. So there's operational excellence, or the back end of the business. We have a strong lean manufacturing program. Actually, my fellow advisor, our lean practitioner, Kyle Randalls, is actually from Oro Valley, so he has a long history. He thought he was going to retire, but we had the opportunity to have him come on board, and so he's spent most of his career at Honeywell Aerospace in Oro Valley, and then also at Raytheon. So I like to mention he's probably forgot more than I'll ever know. But for the things that we're able to provide are, basics, basic Lean 101, all the way to doing Kaizen events, planning out new facilities, really any work processes, to find where to reduce scrap and waste. Quality certifications, ISO, AS9100, a lot of medical facilities require certifications also to send things overseas. A lot of the, you want to export or expand. So we help companies get certified so they can take on new clients that, require these certifications, and then also stay certified through audits. Safe quality food certifications on here, safety programs like OSHA, OSHA 10, OSHA 30, sometimes even creating a safety manual, which is required by law. So a lot of the foundational things that you may expect that, okay, well, that's an employee handbook, or that's here, or things that can result in an easy $10,000 fine when if OSHA were to show up. So really foundational things that we cover. We certainly, and I'm sure everybody's probably experienced this. If you get fancy, that's where accidents and things tend to come up. MRP, ERP selection and development. So certainly something that usually comes up with growth when you get to those certain points. We do utilize some of the vendors and experts throughout the MEP network. So if we happen to not have someone here local in Arizona, I know here in Tucson we have a fantastic ecosystem, which is great. We just figure that, hey, we're another opportunity, another tool in the belt available, for manufacturers to consider, so that we get the right fit and the right results. Inventory optimization, shipping services. I know I kind of was taken aback the last time I looked at a shipping container cost and supply chain issues. So we work with some cohorts that can manage shipping in all facets, really all providers, including parcel, LTL, and then again, shipping containers. So actually, I misspoke. A consortium of buyers that are able to work from a digital interface, so that you can see real time, almost 600 shipping options. I thought that I knew a little bit about shipping, having worked at UPS in another life, but there's quite a few options. So I know that we're going to have a shortage of truckers. So and I guess the rail, just saw a notice with the railroad. So things are coming that you were trying to brace for. So any way that we can send additional information and help in that regard. So so on the business excellence side, or the front end of the business, we can help with R&D tax credits. Those are kind of the how-to, can we credits. Arizona has you can do those both state and federal. We also use an external firm because they don't go back. Somehow, I think the IRS, something about an audit that's not not very fun. So that's why we've partnered with a group that works with a lot of manufacturers here in the Tucson area and also up in the north. We have quite a few folks that are taking advantage of that because you don't know what you don't know, and it certainly helps somebody else with the bandwidth and an expert that's in that area to help out. Energy audits, we have at ASU the Southwest's designated industrial energy assessment center. So there's no cost for it to come out to an energy audit and provide that at no cost. So just your option, just knowing what options are available. HR support, strategy development, P&L, cash flow, organizational excellence. Export Tech, we have the best award-winning program in the nation to help companies who are ready to venture out and sell their products internationally. I'm sure some or most of you have had the pleasure of meeting Kevin O'Shea. He's kind of my team hero. He's part of the MVP and also the VP of International Trade at the Arizona Commerce Authority. So such a great resource to have available. So when he's not in Germany or Dubai or Mexico or globetrotting, we're able to typically hold a workshop or two regarding exporting out of Arizona. So here I listed kind of the most impactful trainings that our clients report to NIST. Leadership and technical training. Leadership really has probably been the highest ranked due to the amount of culture change that it prepares companies for. So we're adding trainings all the time. But just for example, we've had, with the past 2 years, a lot of growth and promotions from within. And it's really humbling and empowering to know that, just because somebody may be an expert, for example, maybe on the shop floor, and then they're promoted, within the ranks, sometimes those skills don't translate, and that's okay. That's what external resources are for. Like, just like Amanda had mentioned, the average age of folks going back to continually learn, our goal, again, I mentioned, foundations, but it's really important to walk into these trainings and really kind of every day to go from a knower to a learner, and it just changes, perspective. So, we're able to really enhance what folks already possess. So, here I listed the things for technical training. We're adding trainings all the time, like solder training. We just added. If we don't have that readily available, we can tap in, like I mentioned, to the hundreds of vetted national MAP for providers throughout the US. So really, if there's a need, that's where we start from. And then we can kind of exhaust, what options are available. A lot of times it's simply an introduction. There's some folks, like I mentioned, the ecosystem here in the Tucson and surrounding area. We have some fantastic providers and folks that have done some amazing things. And a lot of times we just simply don't know what's going on in our own backyard. So we certainly try not to make things more complicated than they need to be. Just because we can doesn't always mean that we have to or should. We're trying not to reinvent the wheel. Somebody else has done it. But again, just, we're here to present additional options. We work with, we just were able to do an inaugural class of training with Eller, so professional management, and with those folks. It was in Chandler, and I know that our team put it together, but I was kind of jealous. I'm like, why are we not putting that together down here? And then some of the workshops that we've been able to have out at the tech park. So again, we generate those from if there's a need. We certainly want to make sure and provide that. Lastly, here I kind of mentioned the way that we work. It starts simply from an introduction and an assessment, kind of to identify what issues you happen to be experiencing, and then we bring in our experts who we make sure that they're laser focused, and we negotiate special rates with our vendors. So there's typically a lower cost and a higher value. We're certainly not a panacea for all things, but really just like I said, another tool in the belt for manufacturers to choose from, because having options is a pretty good thing. I will mention here the supplier scouting program. It's a way to find new businesses and their notifications from other companies throughout the country, as well as submit, if you have a need or a something that you're trying to submit broadly across the country, new opportunities for out-of-state fulfillment. Although we'd certainly like to have all the business remain here in Arizona, we certainly want to open that up to the rest of the country, because sometimes it's not that possible to keep it here. So really any way that we can help. And again, we certainly know a lot of other manufacturers. I've been here in Tucson for about 4 years, since 2018, and it's always amazing knowing how tight knit this community is, and still being able to make an introduction, being kind of the new guy still after, I say only 4 years, but I thoroughly enjoy it here. And I'll share the link to the MEP, but yeah, just wrapping up, any way that we can help, we're happy to serve. So thank you so much. I'll turn it over to you.
And I will welcome your input in the chat, any links and things, and I will repaste, I think, Amanda's items too, because I think we need to do that. I'm going to reclaim here. Let's see if
I can send it over. Oh, perfect.
I think I took it. And so, so while we're all together still, I want to ask you a couple thoughts that you might share with us that relate to successes in each of your areas. And Amanda, I think about customizing workforce solutions. And what are some things you can think of? What are you most proud of that maybe you've experienced that you've assisted some of our manufacturers with in that regard?
Yeah, that's a great question, because when an employer comes to us with any kind of a pain point, we're going to talk that through. And if training is an option and opportunity, if something canned off the shelf we already have works, that's great. But it may not. It may be that we work with you all to deliver something unique. So one of the things that we are most proud of is our work that we did with Caterpillar and what we call our Applied Technology Academies, where Caterpillar came to us and had some concerns and had some financial losses that they determined was a direct result of engineers that don't have hands-on skills. And so, master's, bachelor's levels trained engineers that never had an opportunity to get in on equipment. So we worked with their team to develop what we're calling our Applied Technology Academies, things like welders for non-welders, prototyping for non-machinists. And we're really excited about that. And as soon as the new buildings open, we'll be able to roll that out to other employers and not just Caterpillar, as we've had interest from a variety of companies and firms across Southern Arizona. That I think we are most proud of.
And ways that you've supported manufacturers, many of these, and I want to emphasize because you probably downplayed it, but either low or no cost. I mean, a lot of what you all are providing, or scholarship, right? There's opportunities to help people get access to this kind of expertise that you described that you're able to bring forward. What are some of the things that stand out for you as some specific successes that you've experienced with manufacturers in our area?
Definitely finding the low-hanging fruit. Like I mentioned, our programs are really, the focus is foundational. You watch the major league guys out on the field stretching before a game, and you're like, why are they doing the simple stuff? Because it's absolutely imperative to success. The tax rebate, keeping up with a lot of the small stuff. We get so busy and so caught up with. Rightly so, it's the fun stuff, it's the work and the new challenging stuff, and we get to come in and kind of just check all the dot the I's, cross the T's, and find hidden money, really. Because I mean, most companies are in business to have cash flow and be successful, and that really is kind of what it's the driving force, right? So cash flow. Some of the things sometimes get ignored. I mean, there's tons of examples I'm sure we've all heard of, an amazing invention or the best product, the best thing that we can manufacture. And sometimes they just get gobbled up or don't exist anymore because business. And so that's where kind of, I'd say the biggest success has been driven from the focus on the little things, the devil in the details. We certainly can get, we do some fun stuff as well, but we certainly don't start there. I'm amazed at all of the things that I get to see. And I typically joke that I'm just waiting for some of the aerospace and defense things that I get to see. Obviously they wouldn't be sharing with me, but I joke with I get to see the Men in Black pen to erase my memory. And I'm like, these amazing things that we're able to do. And we just don't want to get too fancy. So I could go on and on.
You talk about savings, but it's also efficiencies, right?
Absolutely.
And I know several years ago, there was a movement around how do we make our manufacturing facilities more efficient? Lean manufacturing was a concept. What do you do with plant managers that are trying to take a look, or setting up facilities, or maybe redesigning facilities? How do you help in that regard?
Well, first I would bring in Kyle. Like I mentioned, he's forgot more than all of them, but to just evaluate what folks are doing. A lot of times they're doing all of the right things. And if somebody's driving a project like that, it certainly helps to have somebody who's either been there or, bounce things off their experience, or a second set of eyes, if you will. So, like I said, having somebody come in that's been there, done that, and share their experience is the first step. And ask a lot of questions. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. Why are we doing it this way when we could do another? And kind of I guess, if I were to share one thing about our lean program, one of the and most important things is to have everybody at every level, from entry level to C-suite, have kind of an owner's mentality of walk in and they're just seeing all of these things that we're doing, and to be able to foster an environment where we can question those things. And that's okay. If we make an improvement, or we have a project where we're, hey, well, what about this? If I did this, I could shave 15 seconds off this, that, or the other. And we do fun workshops with spaghetti charts and Legos. Really simple. You won't step on any, but again, just to break down and give the aha moment. So we walk in and see a lot of these state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities, sometimes not, and that's okay too, making state-of-the-art things. And we get kind of lost in the illusion of that it's magic. So the way that we present lean is it's kind of a behind the scenes, if you will. If I'm trying to make sense of this, seeing an illusion and you go, oh, I get it. Okay. So the little thing, yeah, absolutely. Yes, exactly. So that's where we would start, and just see if there's any help to be had. And if not, we love sharing great stories. Sometimes folks have it squared away, and that's okay too. We want to find out what everybody's doing and share that.
So the end result, of course, is great. And that's what the business owners and the plant managers are all driving for. But what takes that, or what makes that happen, are the people. So let's talk about, on one of your slides, the challenges, with maybe hiring or recruiting, finding the skills. So maybe Amanda, this is where you can chime in. What do you see are maybe some of the current stressors in the talent piece for manufacturers right now?
Yeah, like everybody, it's hard to find talent right now. It's a challenge, and we know and are working hard to correct what we refer to as the skills gap, or often called the middle skills gap. where, in Arizona, we are really producing enough bachelor's levels and above folks. They're matching those jobs. And we have not enough in that middle skills, and far too many people that don't have any skills above high school diploma. And so really filling that middle skills gap is key. But certainly we're seeing folks who are having a challenge to get people interested in the industry. There are misconceptions, right? There are a lot of misconceptions about what has historically been called blue collar jobs, and getting grease under your fingernails. And these are things that now are very much high skill, high tech. And as Gary was talking about, yeah, definitely there's some manufacturers that are more high tech than others, and there are others that are more lean and more efficient than others. But folks really whether they're coming out of high school or older adults, don't necessarily know what great opportunities there are in advanced manufacturing and what that really looks like today. And so there's not always a readily supply of fully trained labor force out there. And that's what we're seeing the pain point with employers having. And one of those opportunities, we talked about Pima Fast Track as an opportunity to get folks in and trained. The idea of that really is kind of just-in-time skills, right? We all would love somebody to have this much skills, but if you need this much to do the job, then great, let's get people in with that much skills. And let's get them in as soon as we can, and then train them up to have that much more skills and keep training them to upskill them. And that really is the simple idea of Fast Track. What's kind of just-in-time skills to be able to get in and get that entry-level job and continue on. But the idea of apprenticeship as a recruiting opportunity and a recruiting tool and a retention tool is really huge. I can't say enough about that to really help with those pain points that our employers are feeling right now.
That's great. And I was, sitting here thinking, what is it that we need our manufacturers to know or to be focused on that maybe they aren't thinking about? So like, what do we need to do? What do we need them to be thinking about or taking advantage of, as you all have, you've painted a plethora of programs and trainings and opportunities to support. What do you want them to dial in on? And we'll finish with that. Gary, what do you think it is?
Oh, all of that. And then, exploring the opportunities. We don't know what we don't know. If I were to end on a kind of a simple message, all the things that Amanda mentioned, absolutely. And I guess therein lies the rub is, you can have all of the trainings, but how does somebody convey that? We've all probably experienced at some point, the hiring process and what we think of the hiring process with AI coming out. You might get skipped over your resume, but you don't have that opportunity to present your soft skills, and really, have that opportunity to pitch yourself and sell yourself on, yeah, you fit the criteria, but here I am, I'm hire me, all of these things that, I think the departure from, even today we're on Zoom, and it's by all means, absolutely convenient, and that's absolutely great. But I certainly long for the interaction and kind of the sharing of, I'm not just a worker. I'm not a resume. I am, a person and wanting to grow, and all of these things that we have the opportunity to do and share. But yeah, the simple things like that. I don't want to soapbox on a lot of the fun things that we had a chance to talk about, but
I think it's important. It's important that for the people. So Amanda, what do you think? What do manufacturers need to be thinking about going forward?
It really is about what are you doing to entice folks? If you can go to In-N-Out Burger and make 16, 17, whatever they're paying an hour, right? It's got to be, wages have to be in line with other wages and higher than somebody that has no skill. Investing in your employees through upskilling, training, professional development, whether it's a full registered apprenticeship or not, it may be tuition reimbursement. And I think everybody's looking for some type of flexibility in the workplace in some form or fashion, right? If employers can show that I care about you as a human being, not just the work that you do, that really goes a long way. And those training and upskilling parts are huge for that. And making investments in those areas is going to go a long way for employers in getting workforce. And
I love that advice. I think it's great advice. And I think, you know, if manufacturers would take that to heart, not only would they would be the employer of choice, but we would be the community of choice. And so that's what I get excited about. Yeah.
That's so true. To echo that sentiment, you know, fostering growth. The folks that are already doing it, they know, and the folks that may have, you know, maybe questioning it or haven't done it yet, you know, maybe talk to those who have. I can list a couple of the usual suspects in town that are just knocking it out of the park. You know, tuition reimbursement unit, the litany of things that. But just the engagement, because they're having those conversations, and it's if everybody were there, we wouldn't be talking about it, right? But it's such a great opportunity for everybody.
And there was a question in our from our audience. Is there a website where we can go to place students in an intern or employee internship program that would be interested in building a partnership? How do employers get connected on that? So if you could both maybe share something on that.
Yeah, and there is and Barbara, I don't seem to be able to chat to everybody, so I apologize if you can replace it. I can't seem to select everyone. It may be user error. And so there is, and Barbara will link it in the chat for Pima Community College. You can also reach out to workforce at pima.edu for any of your workforce needs. If it's hiring students, internships, apprenticeships, or talking to us in the workforce development department about your needs. Again, workforce, thank you, Barbara. Perfect. Workforce at pima.edu.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, this has been a really great conversation. I hope that we will have a whole lot of opportunity to share this particular episode, because I think it's really valuable. And I appreciate both of you spending part of your day with me and all of us that are in attendance today. So thank you. And it is time to wrap up. We'll be back next month. But what we're going to do Monday, November 21st at 3 p.m., we're going to celebrate our last webinar of the year in a slightly different way. We'll be inviting everyone to join in on a meeting format where we can all talk and share with one another, reflect on the year's highlights and challenges in a dialogue that I hope will be engaging and inspiring as we offer a more interactive forum for exchange of ideas. So be sure to watch your inbox for the announcement and registration link. Let's keep you all connecting for success. A reminder, you can call our City of Tucson Economic Initiative Small Business Assistance line at 520-837-4100. And you can visit connecttucson.com for resources or to sign up for our newsletters and updates. So with that, I'll close us out. Thank you both and have a great afternoon.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Awesome.